and I'm currently decorating my Christmas tree that is for the tutorial. So I was filming this little series of how to make a little Christmas tree, and I still have the final video to do of how to decorate. And I have already filmed my intro, what my procedures are. So now I have to um, actually do it so that I have a final copy. So yeah, so if you want to chat with me on today, we'll be able to see what you're saying on camera and see what's on your mind this morning. So I'll be a little while, so you can hang out with me for a bit if you want to. But I have, oh my God, my whole office is a mess. So I have been jumping project to project, and I literally finished writing a book that will go to the Crochet Cruisers, and the book has been sent to publisher, or sorry, to our printer now to get printed for the cruise, and so that should be good. So yeah, so people are okay. The census said hi. The tree looks lovely. So I like these mini trees. I like the element of space, that they don't take up that much space. And so whether you're in an office or maybe you have somebody that is in a senior facility that just is not allowed to have space, but you want to bring Christmas to them, it's kind of a neat way to go. So I'm a little bit, as I said in my intro that you haven't seen yet. So I said I'm anal retentive when it comes to these things. So I used to be a car designer very early on in my life, and so I have an issue with creativity as far as like being random. And so even though it's going to appear random on the tree, which it will be, the way that I grab it out of my little bin here is so strategic that it's stupid. So I have to grab one and then one and then one so that there's an equal amount, because my ADHD goes off a little bit with that. So I know, pathetic. So you think you got problems. So yeah. So any good gossip this morning? I see that people are starting to check in where they're from today. You can let me know where you're from today, checking in. I broadcast from Nova Scotia, Canada. So I'm Canadian, as most of you know. And if you don't, you know now. So yeah. So kind of working my way through. So somebody's making one. So I have not really made, I know I'm so bad, I've really not made any effort on Facebook to really push this as a stitch along. It's pretty much just been pushing out on the YouTube community only. I don't know why. I just maybe I've been busy. So I'm currently developing a new website and refine. So I'm going to have 3 websites by the end of the year. And so I've been learning a lot of programming and learning a lot into automation and coding and all of that stuff. So I thought I knew it all, but it was time to go back to school. As far as like, you got a problem, you look it up. So I've been working through a lot of that too. Yeah. So anyway, Trish likes the new website. So Mikey Stitch Studio has been around for a year. I wasn't planning on keeping it, but my programmer that I've contracted out of the United States said that I need a separate platform for e-com as far as like patterns and stuff. So I was originally going to integrate it with the new site that's being built, but apparently that's not going to happen. And so anyway, so then I had to get serious about actually how to use it. So currently in production right now, or is available, is the crochetcrowd.com, but the site that I've been refining and fixing is Mikey Stitch Studio, and that's where some of the patterns. So some patterns are free, others are not. It's a bit of a mix to help cover the cost of production and stuff like that. So yeah, so I've been working away through all of my little drama to be able to get things accomplished. So anyway, the tutorial version is different from the actual written version of patterns. So the tutorial version was using Karen 1 pound. I decided to use Karen Cakes Karen Macchiato cakes. And anyway, the color transitions on its own, and it's kind of like a roving look. And so it completely changed the outlook of my project, which I was really quite excited about. Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. So I went to, it's Craft Show Central now here until a couple weeks before Christmas, but every weekend here there are craft shows like galore. So one of the reasons that brought us to Nova Scotia is that this area is very creative. And so anyway, the amount of craft shows that have been going on have just been absolutely just nuts. But between me and you and the fence post, I get sick and tired of them because I like going at the beginning of the season, but then I kind of um, I get tired of it, and it's not because I don't want to support people. It's just I'm over it, if that makes any sense. Because there's so many of them, and there's so many good ones too. So it's kind of hard, and you only have so much money in the season. So I think the trick for these shows is to make sure they're early enough that they can get into your wallet before the rest of the shows come out. Yeah, and I apparently fizzled out. So I don't know. So we've been having an internet issue for a couple years here, and so the way that this house has worked up until 2 years ago is that the actual studio itself had its own wiring underneath the ground all the way to the studio. And so anyway, we had a lightning storm about 2 years ago. It took out my main router in the house, so we were a week without the internet, so I was struggling to work. I got that fixed up, and we noticed that the studio itself was no longer working. And so I'd plug in the cords to the router, nothing. And so anyway, it's been like that for quite some like 2 years, as I said. So Daniel really wants the internet out there. So went out there, and I had a guy come in and give me an assessment. He goes, the router is broken. So I ended up getting a new router. Bell Canada exchanged it, and still wasn't working. So he checked the wires underneath the ground. The wires are communicating, so something was broken. So it was a whole day to do, or a whole full day to do. And so it's stated on their other, so there's two routers. So the other router said that there's no connection. I'm like, well, I don't understand. The guy tested it and there's a connection. So it turns out here's the lesson, that when we blew the main router for the lightning storm that shocked it, turns out it blew the secondary router as well in the studio. So anyway, so I just told Daniel, I said, I think it's the router. So anyway, I'm like, why in the hell did that happen? And then I realized the lightning storm probably took everything out. So anyway, that was kind of my drama. And let me just get a pair of tweezers. I like to take the glue off as I go. Anyway, so here in the house, we're going to start decorating our house really soon for Christmas. I can do two things at once. Remember, I'm Canadian, so we've already had our Thanksgiving, so that's not an issue. And I can chew gum and walk at the same time. Yeah. So beware of the cute Christmas tree kit on Amazon. So I had no intentions of designing a Christmas tree, none. And so I kept getting hammered with email and private messaging from people because there was a tree out there and the instructions were so bad. So anyway, and the instructions were so bad that there was no way for me to duplicate it. So I decided after like the gazillionth email to finally develop my own tree. So then it took me a week to design this tree. And I guess the main part of designing the tree was the actual is the actual mathematics. And yeah, so I'm not going to put any Christmas balls on the leaves. It's like on the snow itself. We're going to pretend that the balls are covered in the snow. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of my little drama that I was having. So I'm going to move on. So anyway, because I've sprayed this with spray glitter, it's stiff. So yeah, so it's got, like, if it wasn't sprayed, it would be a lot more droopier. So you spray it, kind of shape it, and let it air dry. So it's actually, I did that like a week ago because I've been behind on all my stuff because, you know, I got a million things in the pot. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're going. So I like this kind of stuff. And so at the end of the season, what I'm going to do is put this in a plastic bag and make sure the dust stays off of it. And the other thing I like to do too is that the beads have holes in them, so I make sure the beads are facing up and down, so that when you're looking head on to the tree, you don't see the hole in the beads. So it literally looks like a Christmas ball decoration. And there's puppy dog hairs in this stuff. Mm-hmm. Got that right. Right. Yeah, so flicker candle, I decided not to put lights. I did have lights, I decided not to. I didn't want to overcomplicate the design. The more you add to a design, the more people will look at it and say, oh, hell no. So I didn't want that experience. So I figured if people want to do it, they can. But there's such thing as like over designing, which I've been guilty of in the past. Yeah. What is the name of the spray glitter? I'm struggling to find clear spray glitter. It was called Rust-Oleum, and it's clear glitter sealant, so it wasn't heavy in glitter. In fact, I don't even see it glittering. I barely see any glitter. So I'm more looking, don't get excited, but I was more looking to make it stiff, right? So that's was my ultimate goal. But now that I have that spray glitter, I can make snowflakes and spray that as well. So that's kind of what we got going on. So Gordon is joining us this morning. I don't even know what time. Oh, it's in the. Oh my God! It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Jeez, I don't know where the day's going. Could use a cup of tea though. Yeah. So hopefully Sherry got that information. Rust-Oleum, clear glitter sealant, I think it's called. Yeah. So it's 8:45. Does it take much to stiff it? No, just a good talking to, Gordon. When I did spray it, the whole thing was kind of wet though. So then you just kind of shape it. So I like to put my bigger balls inside the tree more. So I like putting the big balls up underneath the leaves a bit, so that they're kind of like peekabooing, but they're not like big balls hanging off the end of the tree. So there's 3 different sizes. There's 5mm, 7, and 10, and it's all within the same thing. My goal is not to put 2 of the same color side by side. So yeah, so it was a bit of a cool morning. So Daniel and I always have breakfast out on the front deck, unless it's raining. But that season is ending soon. So yeah. I'm broadcasting live if you're going to say anything. Do you need something? No. Better to give him a heads up.
Whatever.
You never know.
I heard that.
Oh, you know what happened to me yesterday at the you know what happened at the antique place yesterday?
No.
This woman told her mother, so this grown woman told her mother, says, "Can you buy that? Because when you die, it's going to go in my house." And anyway, I'm walking by as I hear that, and and my, you know me, I can't keep my mouth shut. But anyway, I'm like, for the love of God. But I said it so low, so both of the women turned. I'm like, oops, that was in my inside head.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine using her mother like a dirty shirt to buy her shit? But I could tell by what was in their hand, she had no taste. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of. Yep. Gordon says hello, Daniel. Okay, I'll tell him. This is hard on my neck. I'm not used to bending it. I wonder, maybe I can tilt it backward. Oh, that's bad. Actually, maybe I would just go lower. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm decorating. Yeah. Oh, it's my hat from, it's pre-made, but I bought it when I was in Scotland. It's a little chilly outside today, so, and it's wool, so it's comfortable to wear inside. So that's my method to my madness. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. So the only bead I'm not using is the color black. I just don't think it goes on my tree. Mind you, I have done a black tree with black balls once. Black and gold balls. It was really quite elegant. So there's a cone inside the tree. That's what's holding it up. Yeah, the crafty guy. I'm known to burn myself with a glue gun, so people know that about me. So I'm trying to be extra careful. So if you are looking for the tree, there is a free course for it on Mikey Stitch Studio. You'll find that, and you'll also find the stitch along happening here on YouTube. So I'm only broadcasting on YouTube right at this time. So who made my hat? I don't know. I bought it in a gift shop. It was just cute. So I was knitting a hat though while I was in Scotland as well, which I put the pattern on Mikey Stitch Studio 2 or 3 days ago. I think it's the Smash hats. I don't really remember. So thank you for the compliments, my tree. Yep. Do, 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 do. So I'm doing all 3-dimensional. I'm doing all completely around because I don't know where I'm going to put it in my house. So I'm just doing it all. But I don't know if you're like me though. Once you put a tree against the wall, you don't do behind where the wall hits. So my parents we end up doing that a lot as a kid, and the tree ends up tipping over because it's all loaded on one side. How big is the cone? It is 9 point something inches tall. 9 point. Just go on the Crochet Crowd website for the tree. I think it's 9 point something inches tall by 3.5 inches diameter. Yeah. So yeah. Could you develop a snowman pattern with a hat scarf? Oh, anything is possible. But will I? I don't know. I have so many ideas in my head I can't even focus. So the developer is working on everydaystitch.com. Oh my god, the new site looks amazing. So Daniel decided the colors for the theming for it. So anyway, so we decided all the colors. We did an analysis. We did a whole whack of stuff. When I say we, I mean he. And so anyway, so the mock-up came back on the first draft, and it turns out that it looked like all the same colors from our book, which is just shocking. And it was the first time in 17 years that we actually have a color palette that we actually are aiming for. So I had to go back on the crochetcraft.com and Mikey Stitch Studio and recolor everything to match, so all 3 sites will look similar to each other, so they look like they belong together. So anyway, so one simple idea and multiplying into 3 pieces of work. So the snowflake pattern. I don't know which one that is. But we're going to be starting to pull out all of our, Daniel's already started, but pulling out all the Christmas decorations and taking a note. We haven't decorated in several years. So we got to see what we have and see how we're going to theme it, but we don't decorate the same every time. And, you know, like typical gays over decorate. I know that's right. Yeah. Okay, moving down the layers. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of what's going on. So I think this is my 4th Christmas tree design in the sense of type of tree. I did a tree roundup a week or so ago. And anyway, I think this is my 4th tree style that I have. So Gordon likes to go over the top. Of course you do, Gordon. You're on my side of the fence. Typical gay. So Daniel's in the process of creating a mouse village right now for the decorations. So even though we haven't decorated in several years, when you see a good deal, you see a good deal. And so anyway, we've been collecting. So he has this whole collection of mice, of felted mice, all in different kinds of situations, whether it's skiing or shopping or whatever. They're about 4 inches tall. So he's making a village out of wood to go with it, because that's what a gay does. So what is the white yarn? It was Bernat Pipsqueak. So it was on sale last year, so I ended up getting it, you know, with not really knowing what I'm going to do, but it's always the best for stuff like this. So the original tree wasn't like that at all. The original tree was just white yarn, but it really did a good job. Made it more fluffy. The easy snowflake ornament is the one I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. So easy. Yeah, it's a great little go-to. And if you can spray it too, then you can stiffen it up. Just get Gordon to share with us on how he stiffens up his snowflakes. Puss may like the Little House Village. Yeah. She's gonna go in there like Godzilla and just teach them all a lesson. But I keep trying to give my cats away from give it to my friend Kelly, but she won't take my cats. I tried. Mm. Goody goody. Are you using that glue gun? I can't. Yeah. So my family as a kid, we would decorate the tree, but it wouldn't be organized in any way, and all the decorations were mismatched over years of collecting stuff. So the tree never was cohesive in any way. And then I met somebody where their parents have to have the tree decorated a certain way, the same way every year, and they will literally sit back and then reorganize the tree and keep doing it and doing it. I'm like, God, just throw the decorations on there and be happy. But anyway, I'm like, anyway, it was a to-do. So what about you? Do you, for those that decorate, because I know not everybody does Christmas, but for those that do it, is it well organized, or is it just kind of toss and go, or get it over with? There's no wrong answer, honestly. Just don't ask Gordon. I think being fussy would take the fun out of it for the kids. Yeah. We had a lot of stuff because, I grew up relatively poor. So the stuff in the decorations side of it was just kind of stuff that we would make as kids to put on the tree. But I think it has more meaning. You ever do those snowflakes in popsicle sticks where you have to wrap the yarn around the popsicle sticks to make the snowflake stars? Those were a common thing for us. Easy to make and fun. Not too heavy on the one side. So I don't think they make tinsel anymore. Reindeer from popsicle sticks. Got that. So what was the best handmade thing that you would do for Christmas? I'm sure my family wasn't the only one. Because I'm going to forget that I've done this, and then next year when I pull it out of the box, I'm like, oh my god, I made that. So that's the funnest part for me. Decorations mix well. Each decoration has a memory. Many are family over the years. It's all about the memories and so much more than the design. Wow, that is so true. I'm only speaking for myself though, but I prefer a handmade gift for Christmas, not a store-made one. Dough ornaments. Oh god, yeah, dough ornaments. Oh god, I forgot about the dough ornaments. Huh. Made a huge lollipop with beads that stayed in the family tree for years. It was pretty when the tree was lit up. Well, you didn't make me a lollipop. Mm-hmm. Reindeer out of candy cans. I still have my kids' ornaments. Paper chains, yes. He would tell people the trees were broken if they didn't have a star on top. Jeez. I don't think we put a tree topper on our tree here. Do we put tree toppers on our tree when we decorate?
What?
Do we put tree toppers on our tree when we decorate? I don't think we do.
Sometimes we do.
What is it though?
Feathers.
Oh, feathers. That's right. He's got a feather addiction. Is it peacock feathers?
No, ostrich feathers.
Ostrich feathers. Poor ostrich.
Yeah, I don't know what else we put on it. You.
Yeah. So, okay, what else we got? Melted all over the box. Plastic star from 46 years ago. Huge bows draped down the side. It looks like pretty that way. That sounds actually really pretty. Anybody got one of those fiber optic trees? We don't have any of those. We bought a Christmas tree arch last year when it was on sale, but we have not used it yet. So I think that's coming out too. We do. It's perfect for our little camper life. Oh, that's cute. I have a friend that when we go on vacation with her, she brings her Christmas tree with her, a little mini. So anyway, Daniel always threatens to burn it. I don't think he's kidding. She had her Christmas tree on the outside of a cabin on the ship once when we were traveling with him, and he ended up stealing it, so it was missing, and she was so upset. Yes, we did return it, but it wasn't worth it. She was so upset about it. She thought somebody else stole her tree for real. So I like to decorate if I actually do a gift, which is highly unlikely, but if I actually do it, I actually wrap it in like newsprint or whatever I can find in the house. I don't like. I think the idea of Christmas wrap is pretty, but I think it's not for the amount of time that they look at it to ripping it into shreds. I just think it's a waste. I don't even object to putting it into a reusable shopping bag either. I think that just makes sense. Silver tree with the color wheel. Oh, that's cute. So, anybody have any great Christmas memories to share? That's newspaper wrapping too. Yeah, it just makes sense. All right, and I guess the second question is, when people unwrap gifts, are you like manic that you have to deal with the paper like right away, like put it in the garbage bag and stuff, or do you just let it be all over the floor? I'm the manic type. I like to make sure it stays organized and goes in the bag immediately, because God forbid. My only Christmas memory is going to the Christmas movie day. I ended up being the only person there. When I was single, I would do the same thing, Trish. But I've always been, in my adult years, I always tell people don't buy me gifts for Christmas, and then I get friends that do it. I'm like, and then I get them nothing. And I think, honestly, it feels like a letdown, even though it was their choice. It just, oh. So when the stores start going manic and for Christmas buying, I'm not worried about it because I don't bother. I try to keep the paper in check, says Wendy. Make sure that small items didn't get stuck in the paper and tossed. Mm-hmm. You are too organized, Wendy. So we have Benton, Maine in the house today. One year, my Christmas, some Legos he opened and asked if it was a joke because the box was empty. There are no Legos in a factory sealed box. Whoa. That cuts deep, Wendy. So when are we putting up the tree, Daniel? Daniel, when are we putting up the tree?
What?
When are we putting up the tree?
Um,
Maybe tomorrow.
what?
It upsets people when they see a tree up in a house. Let's just do it.
Well, first of all, you're gonna have to actually clean up upstairs first.
Yeah. Are we putting the wreath around the dining room?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I might redesign it.
Yeah. Are we gonna hang the tree upside down?
What?
Are we gonna hang the tree upside down over the dining room?
No.
Or are you gonna?
It's gonna be too much.
It's never too much. It's Christmas.
You don't know that.
Did you see the boys that I bought yesterday? I hung it in the studio.
Oh.
Did you see them?
No.
It's on its way to the router.
Oh.
I thought they might be cute because they're stringed.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Well, you can put the nutcrackers out first.
Well, yeah.
We'll see. I don't know yet. I'm busy.
Yeah. Me too. Do you want to decorate before I leave for the trip?
Decorate what?
Before I leave?
Well, I'll probably decorate some of it.
Yeah.
Because my snowflakes aren't going to be done.
Oh, it's all about your snowflakes. Gordon just got another cat, Daniel.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Gordon got another cat. What's he thinking? He's turning into a cat dad. So Salty has never seen Christmas, and Puppy Dog's only ever seen it once. So we haven't decorated in several years. Goes up on the day after Halloween, and that's when I start decorating. Christmas, it's only for me. Well, that's the way it should be anyway. It is just for you. It's special to you. Just Christmas cards? No. I don't do Christmas cards. I do get them from the audience, though. So I used to do Christmas cards, but then I realized you never hear from people when you send them a card, so I said, screw it. Not doing it. But I think social media has a lot to do with that too. So Gordon's, you don't need to send me a, you know, our postal's on strike, Gordon. I will not probably get it until February. I was still getting cards last year, I think in February and March, because it was on strike last year as well. So I would tell you to save your money. Like, why? Like, don't complicate the mail already, because they're already back order or like back slammed. So I was at my spa treatment, so I have a treatment every 2 weeks because I have a issue that gets dealt with. And anyway, the women that get assigned to me, they end up having kids and stuff. And because I have a good rapport with they're like they're like my friends. If I were to have friends, they'd be like my friends. So anyway, so they have these children, and then there's a tradition of bringing their kids in to see me. So they find out when I'm coming in, and then they bring in their kid and put them on my lap. And I'm like, oh. So anyway, so Brady, that was in the little boy that, if you're watching me on my personal Facebook and the Crochet Craft Facebook. Anyway, so the kid comes in, and I'm like, oh, I said I'm crocheting. I don't want to do that. So anyway, they put the kid on my lap, and next thing I know, I'm holding the kid for like 30 minutes of my hour appointment. So, but the advantage is you give the kid back at the end. Yeah. Yeah. So send me a digital card. Yeah, that's better. So I don't know how many balls this thing takes. Mikey, that's called exposure therapy. You may start liking kids. It's called confirming I made the right choice, not having kids. Okay. Pretty, right? The answer is yes, Mikey, it is. So I have a hard time hanging on to my balls. They're so small. Okay, so what is the go-to gift of the year? What are people making this year? I did this coolest baby blanket. I actually finished on Friday night. My friends, Karen, were hosting an evening of watching the baseball game. Anyway, they were screaming at the TV, so I eventually left because I was done. But I only went over there so that I could be disciplined to finish in my ends and be motivated to finish quick. Anyway, the blanket turned out so amazing. I'm quite excited about it. It's called Warped Entrelac. So I'll be teaching that on the cruise ship coming up. It's the first time the entire cruise book that I wrote is actually 100% our own designs. So it was a lot of effort to make the book. So the book is currently being printed now for all of the cruisers to have, because it's a workbook on board. Shh. Daddy's working. Daniel, do you have a favorite Christmas song?
Yeah.
What is it?
Say that again?
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh.
Yeah, I knew when you said yep. I'm like, okay, he didn't hear me. Do you have your favorite?
No, not really.
Does any give you memories?
There's one little toy trains or something like that.
Toy Train.
Yeah. I don't know. Little toy train, or little toy tracks, little toy trains, whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Coming from a sack.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that one. Is that real or just in your head?
Well, yeah.
I like Up on the Housetop.
Okay.
So I had to be this teddy bear for, you know how they do assemblies when you're kids? Daniel,
Are you talking?
I'm talking to you. So you know how did you have to do assemblies as kids?
Yeah.
So anyway, kindergarten, I had to be a bear.
Oh.
Right. Oh, sorry. No, I was a Jack in a Box. And anyway, so all the kids were dressed as toys, and so only the cool kids actually had speaking parts, and I just had to stand there, and the kid had to decide whether I was worthy to buy or not. And so he pulled me forward to examine me, but didn't like me, and I knew that was part of the script. But when he pushed me back, I literally fell back, and I was trapped on my back in a box. And I still remember that. I remember the clunk of me going down, and I remember the audience just losing their shit.
Yeah. Oh, poopy.
Yeah. And I'm sure my mom said, "That's my boy."
Yep.
And on his back in a box. You know what, Daniel? That could have been the modern day at that time in like the 1979. No, that's a dick in a box. Jesus. So the top here needs a few more balls. Okay, I want to get it covered and then I'm going to examine, but I don't disagree. I don't know how many balls this thing takes. It's at least a couple hundred, I think. At least feels that way. Oh, Wendy looked up the song "Old Toy Trains, Little Toy Tracks, Little Boy Toys Coming Down the Sack." Oh, coming from the sack, carried by a man dressed in white. Red little red red little boy. Don't you think it's something? Time for you to get your butt to bed. I don't know. Is that what that was?
That was it.
Oh, I have never heard of that one. Yeah. Those are working on stitch markers for the cruise. I'm not going to do stitch markers, but I have something else for you people. Well, I have something else for cruise 1. Cruise 2 I haven't figured out yet. I'm struggling for time. Because if this wasn't a tutorial, I wouldn't be doing it right now. Cruise number 2, Angela. I remember in the church program, and my brother had the microphone and tummy troubles while sitting on the wooden bench. I think I remember, well, I know I remember, but when I was really young, we'd have to go to that candlelight service the night before Christmas. And anyway, because I was so young, they had candles everywhere, down the aisles, up on the thing. Anyway, I started blowing out the candles in mid-service. Yep. That's when your parents grab you by the neck. Anyway, so then they made me a deal that I was allowed to blow out all the candles at the end of the service, so I was okay with that. Michael, can you get kicked out of a church for all that blowing? Oh, yeah. You can get kicked out of a church for far less than that, let me tell you. At the farm church that we used to go to, this was a different church, but they used to have these big ass frogs that would fall into like you know how windows are in the basement and there's a cutout because the window's too low for the ground. Anyway, all these frogs would go in there, so we would grab the frog. We'd go down there, grab some frogs, and then throw them against the windows of the church. And so anyway, this old lady, she was headmistress of the church, basically the one that's controlling all the shots. And I still know her name. Anyway, she looked at the window and I threw a frog dead on onto the window. Oh my God, she had a bird. Possibly some kittens. So I never went to a Catholic church with the priests and all. Do we usually have a white Christmas? We don't usually have a white Christmas, do we? It's rare for a white Christmas, right? Here in Nova Scotia, I don't.
Yeah, it's kind of a little rare.
Yeah, we don't really get our snow like seriously until the end of January. We could get it, but it doesn't stay. The ocean temperatures are not cold enough to let the snow stay. So we're in a constant flux of snow melt, snow melt.
Okay, little guy, let's go for a little walkie. All right.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Come on, little guy.
Can you do a live when you decorate? That would be fun. No, I'm not doing that. That would be fun for you, not for me. Daniel is very particular on decorations. So I will slap and then I'll get my item that I put down ever so carefully to be moved. And then it doesn't turn into a fight, but it's just, So I can load a Christmas tree, but I can't do the final touches of a Christmas tree because I'm not allowed. Mm-hmm. So he likes to use real branches and feathers and stuff for the tree decorations. So we have, I think we have 5 Christmas trees because that's like 17 years of a relationship. But the 2 main trees are pencil trees, so they don't take up a lot of space. And you don't need as many decorations either. Yeah. So anyway, I found an actual comedian that I think is actually more similar to me than anybody else that I've noticed. And I think that I'm very similar with the one-liner quips as Alan Carr. And anyway, he's currently on the current season of Traders, and that guy is so funny. Anyway, I'm just waiting for his one-liners to pop out of his mouth. And anyway, I realize I'm so similar to him, where he says something on the top of his head, and it comes across as just ridiculously funny, in my opinion. Anyway, so I end up hanging off to every word he says, because I was trying to determine, where is my personality as far as humor, and I realized that I'm so similar to him. And it's all about the adjectives in the end. So I might want to meet him one day. I think he'd be kind of funny, but he, I haven't watched RuPaul's Drag Race in a couple of years now, but when he's on there, he's funny, but on Traders, he is funny as shit because he has more airtime, and he's been really quite fun to watch. So I saw, some people know this story, but I saw Jimbo, the drag queen, that was on RuPaul's 3 times. I saw him live in a show here in Nova Scotia, and I have not watched RuPaul since I saw him on show. And I think I just grew tired. I grew tired of the queens having to humiliate themselves in order to get recognized, and I like the idea that that people don't get voted off on a show. I know it's an American thing, and Britain too can be, but I like the idea that a queen can stay and learn from the mistake versus being booted off and being humiliated. So once I met, I got to meet Jimbo because I had VIP tickets that I bought, and I got to meet him. Just hilarious. He's just such a natural performer, and I thought, you know what? It took 3 seasons for him to get the final recognition that he needed, and but his show in person was just so much fun. I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. He was just naturally a funny guy. So I'm very curious on Tom Daly's new show that he has coming up in November, that knitting competition. I've always thought maybe there should be something like that for the yarn arts, but I was conflicted that if you judge somebody, will their creative selves be compromised by getting a judgment that is not in their favor? And so I'm very curious how that's going to get handled, or whether the people are on the show knowing that they're probably going to get booted anyway and they're just there for the fun. So I'm very curious on how that's going to work out. So I think it's kind of fun. So Daniel and I, we like the show Traders a lot. We have seen every season, and we binge it as it's going. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. There's something about the show I just like. But so Traders Canada just launched, so they have a Canadian one too, and the game is completely different than what has been over the last several years. And so because of it, they think they know the game until the host then surprises them with a twist that is so unexpected. And it's like, oh my god. So you have to invite 2 traders to be part of the covenant. And so they pick them only to realize that they're actually 2 people that are going to get screwed over. So it's like, whoa, didn't see that coming. And the contestants are like, great. So anyway, I like watching traders when the contestants are just regular people, not the celebrities. I find the celebrities just don't seem to try as hard because they probably don't need the money. They're just there for the fame. But that's my assumption. But I find the celebrities are quick to quit versus the people that are there for the just regular people. I find they're there for the money, and so they will be a lot more strategy to it. So it's a lot better watch. Oh my god, this probably takes just as long as a real tree to decorate. It's currently 1:49 in the afternoon. I was going to say in my intro, it's only going to take you about 40 minutes to decorate, but I didn't because I wasn't sure. I'm glad I didn't now because I'm at, what, over an hour. And though I'm yapping at you, I'm not slowing down. So we've canceled loose ends now until the end of the year. It's just I have been so busy. I'm having trouble just balancing my time. And so we've just put it on hold until after the new year, and we'll revisit if it's going to be okay. So the new developer is designing Everyday Stitch, but the whole website is empty, so I have to start creating content for that. And it's got to be different content than the crochetcrowd.com and different from Everyday or Mikey Stitch Studio. The other thing that I learned this week, which I'm working through, is that, and the Journey members know, if you're a Journey member, you saw the update probably, is that the Journey members know that I asked a question earlier this week about what are questions that crocheters typically have. And so only 26 people responded, because we don't have that many members, but 26 people responded with their thoughts on that. So I've been using their thoughts plus my own thoughts to generate frequently asked questions. And there was a method to the madness, which I never shared with the Journey members, why I was asking. So anyway, so apparently AI scrapes sites for information, and they scrape it when they see a question, and then there's an answer to the question. And so it's typically, like, Daniel no longer uses Google to search, he uses ChatGPT. And I'm starting to use Gemini instead of regular Google because it's AI related. So the problem is that the new websites can use AI to generate content, but then AI only knows as much as it can see. So what I'm trying to program our site to do is to ask a question. What is the question? Here's the real answer. And so when it scrapes my website, it scrapes it from my perspective and then learns from it and then can use me as a source for the answer. So one of them that took 2 days to do, question was how much yarn is for different types of projects. I knew the answer. We had that answer on the Crochet Crowd, but it has to be in a certain format for AI to pick up on it. So I had to reformulate, and then I was talking to Daniel, and he says, you really got to put more of the visual to it, because when you look at AI, it says how many meters or yardage that you need. And he goes, that's really not helpful for somebody standing in front of a yarn shelf. They're going to want to know how many balls. And I said, well, I can figure that out. I just got to get my calculator out and do it. So on the Mikey Stitch Studio, there is a top menu piece called FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions. And so the questions I've been answering are there. And so Red Heart Super Saver is one of America's biggest brands. So what I did is that I used the Super Saver as a base point, and I also use Bernat Blanket, Peyton's Inspired, Bernat Softy Baby, Bernat Blanket Extra, and Croy sock yarn as my examples of how many balls it takes. So, for example, if you did a whole blanket, you would need 21 balls of Croy sock yarn if you were to do something like that. So anyway, you'll see that. So my goal is that AI will find that answer and then incorporate that answer when it's trying to tell people how much yarn they need to give them a visual representation of what it would be. So, so that's kind of what I'm doing with that. So I'm learning. So I find it fascinating. So I'm leaning into AI to help me get what the crocheter needs. So we have an analysis tool on Mikey Stitch Studio, and it will tell me what the crocheters really are in desperate need of right now, and whether it's a design concept or information. So I wasn't planning on working this weekend, but it turns out I am. And so I have some more things that I want to add to the frequently asked questions, and I added stuff you'll notice in the FAQs, even personal information. Am I married? Do I have kids? Where do I stand from a social point of view? And nothing controversial, of course, but even stupid little things like somebody will ask me, are you him, and are you a he or a him? And it's like, so it's those stupid little questions that people do ask, and it's important for them to know, I suppose. But anyway, it's nothing I shy away from, but it's questions like that I've included in the FAQs. So some people on YouTube like to say, and they like to say, are you gay? But they're asking in a condescending way. So instead of avoiding it, you just face it head on and just say, yes, I am. If you don't like it, there's the door. I don't say there's the door, but if you're just transparent about it, it diffuses them from using your lifestyle as a negative point of view instead of just a human point of view. So that's kind of my thought process in that. And then this morning I placed on this tree as a free online course on Mikey Stitch Studio that you'll be able to sign up for if you wanted to. And and so far I have 3 courses, and they are just go at your own pace. So whenever you have time and you want to play on something, then you can use it to move on. So it's just as you go. So there's a lot of new technology, basically, in the end, that you can play with. It might be good to remind them that I'm Canadian. I think that is in there about me. Thing that, this shouldn't bother me, but it really does bother me. People lecture me that I decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving, and it really shocks me in 2025 that some people don't realize that Canadians have Thanksgiving. Like, it's already passed. It was the second week of October because we're farther north, so our harvest is done sooner. But it really shocks me the amount of people that lay into me about you shouldn't be decorating before Thanksgiving. I assume that it's public. I assume that people should know that, but that's dumb for me to assume. But it does surprise me, especially in today's era, that that's not common information. However, having said that, there's some information I probably should know that I don't know either. So that's kind of what we got. So when I first joined you guys YouTube in 2008, the platform was hell. So this channel, I was never a crochet channel when I joined. It was a trucking channel because I used to be a transport driver. So I was linked with a classroom in the United States where I would talk to the kids, and I used the channel as a communication tool for them. And the amount of people that went after me for being gay. So the kids were not allowed to watch my YouTube channel. And anyway, because there was no filters in place at the time, and so the only way I could get rid of the comment is to actually physically see it and then delete it. And it was just like one after another, and it was toxic, and it was hell. And so I really struggled in the first few years before YouTube really got serious about allowing filters and stuff like that. Anyway, it was a constant battle of having to defend who I was. And so right in the beginning, I vowed to myself that I was never going to be out as a host, like out of the closet. But my adjectives and my mannerisms made it too obvious that I just had to lean into it instead of denying it. Just accept it for what it was. Gay culture has its own vocabulary and its own humor and its own attitude on things, and it comes across when I'm communicating. And sometimes it can be funny, and other times it can be quite serious, and sometimes it can be very rude, and other times it can be really laugh out loud ridiculous. An example of something like that is that we had a friend, and we were on this community bicycle. You know, there's 20 people doing the bike, and anyway, sitting right beside me, and I don't know this guy really well. I just know his first name, and that's about it. And so anyway, I turned to him and I said, "I bet you're not used to pedaling with your legs going down." Anyway, him, I, and Daniel laughed, and the woman beside me was just so upset about it. But you know, that's gay culture. And I wasn't wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you listen to Christmas music all year round. It makes you happy. Hey, if it makes you happy, then that's the only thing that matters, Patty. Oh my God, for a 9-inch tree, Jesus. That's what he said. It's cute though, right? So Frosty was a hanging decoration, and I took off the hanger for him, and I glued wire to the back of him, and shoved him in the top of the tree. So I wanted this one just to kind of be fun. It's one of my, so there's a few favorite cartoons that I like as a kid. Stop-mation, you know, where they do the animation with the stop. Anyway, it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty. But my favorite one of all of them is Baby New Year. with the ears. Anybody remember that? And the only thing that Gordon heard in the whole thing was 9 inches. See, that's gay humor. Those ears, yeah, it was all about the ears. We were just talking about Christmas at Marine's Crochet Story Live. At Marine's Crochet Story Live. I don't know what that means. One of the memories I have as a kid is we got stuck at somebody's house, and my parents want to play cards, and they said the Wizard of Oz is on, and so Wizard of Oz was always like a thing to watch at Christmas time, and it was like a feel good thing, and so anyway, so we started watching it, and I'm like, I don't understand all this singing and dancing and all of this like ghetto stuff and stuff like that. And what I never realized until a few years later, that we were watching The Wiz with Michael Jackson as the main scarecrow. And I'm like, this is not Wizard of Oz. Yes, it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. So I'm waiting for Dorothy and the whole 9 yards. But Dorothy, I don't know who played Dorothy. I think somebody famous played Dorothy in The Wiz. I forget who it was. But anyway, so I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But when you're so young, you don't clue in that they make other types of storylines of other things. Anyway, The Wiz was good too. After I understood it, like a few years later, I came to comprehend it and understand what I was actually watching. But yeah, do you ever do that as a kid? It's like, that's not the same thing. But I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, so I don't know. My crochet story, her live, Maureen and Daniel were showing Christmas stuff. Who's Maureen and Daniel? I don't get it. So being that I was so young, I felt like I had dreamt that Wizard of Oz was different than what I was used to, not realizing that it was not actually a memory. It wasn't actually a dream. It was actually real. You just don't understand stuff. So I don't know. So the other thing that we used to watch at Christmas time was The Sound of Music. That was always one of those. And then there was always another one, but I don't know the name of the movie. But there was a bit of singing in it. I think it was about a little church somewhere. I think it might have been European based. And the song they would sing that I remember the most was "Go Tell It on the Mountain." Does anybody remember a Christmas movie like that? I don't even know what it is. Go Tell It on the Mountain. So I don't know. It was some kind of religious kind of context of a Christmas movie that we used to watch. I love Diana. Oh, Diana Ross was Dorothy in The Wiz. That's right. Charlie Brown Christmas, yes. The cartoon that used to scare me the most was actually Fat Albert's Halloween special with the old lady as a shadow in the window. That used to scare me. I was going to say that I think it was Diana Ross. Yeah, I think you're right. Young Diana Ross. I used to sleepwalk as a kid a lot, and so I ended up waking up, and apparently I had sleptwalked from my bedroom to my mom's lap in the living room. And when I came to it, she was watching an award show where Michael Jackson was finally getting his notoriety as a single um, singer without his brothers. I want to say that's in 1983 or 84. But yeah, he was quite something. I had this woman come after me on YouTube, so I had shared one of the Michael Jackson songs as kind of like a fun little song. Anyway, she sent me a copy of her therapy bill, told me to pay her therapy bill because I was triggering her by reminding her of Michael Jackson because of what he ends up representing in the end. And I'm like, oh my God. And then that's when you kind of realize as a YouTube host, like, you really got to watch. You don't know who you're really talking to. The Christmas special, the Christmas open memories scene, Go Tell It on the Mountain, in a mountain church, in a church, his older movie released in 1972. That would make sense. That would make sense. The timing sounds right on that. So my parents as children, they were both in the church, and then my mother got married and then had a divorce. So we did not, as a child, I did not know that my sister was not my dad's daughter. And anyway, so apparently my mom got a call when we were home for lunch, and she was like white as a ghost. And so anyway, she said nothing to us, and so anyway, she ends up calling my dad at work and sends us back at school, right? And so something is wrong, but we don't know what's wrong. And I do have a point. So my parents made a pact that they were going to take us to the park on the following weekend. And so my dad took charge to sit my brother and I down to share with us that my sister is not his, and that mom has actually been married before, and that the phone call was getting notified that my mother's former husband, and think about it, I'm only probably 11, so that so I'm not realizing that my mom is actually had a different husband, and that my sister's from somebody else. Still my mom's kid, but whatever. So anyway, so my dad calls my brother and I, and we sit down, and we had to be told that this new information, which was like so shocking. And you know, you look at your mother in a kind of different light for like 2 minutes, and then you realize everything's still fine. And but anyway, my parents were, as children, were so indoctrinated to the church. But when my mother got a divorce because the guy was drinking and beating her, she got a divorce and ends up getting ostracized from the Catholic Church because of her divorce, even though she left because it was for her own, because she was being harmed. And anyway, so the whole church thing never came back into our lives until I think it was 5 or 6, and then more crap happened, and it was just bad. So it's not for me. That's what I'm saying. But you never know what secrets there are in there. So I'm not sure if my sister knew all along or whether she found it at the same time that she was not from the same, that she was not my dad's, because after that happened, she rebelled against my dad to the point where there's no relationship. So my family, nobody talks to anybody. I assume that my parents are going to die without me knowing about it. And siblings, because we have no contact pretty much. I know how to get a hold of my mom and dad, but there's no effort to do so. I honestly don't know what to say. So people on social media tend to lecture, well, you know, your family, blah blah blah. But you know, sometimes the better family is the people you choose in your life, and not necessarily people that you're stuck with because of biologics. I had somebody from YouTube actually demanding money from me. They said that I was their daughter, and or sorry, that they were my daughter. And anyway, so I get this email, and they're demanding that I pay up my child support in the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, you do realize that I was never able to conceive kids, so you couldn't have been mine. And I was only with ever one woman anyway, so it's not like I was running around with my zipper open, because I was such a terrible. I was not the person that women would want when I was straight. So it's not something that I wasn't promiscuous. And the email was like, you know who you knocked up. I don't need to tell you who you were with. And I'm like, oh, that maybe you should actually, because I'm kind of curious at this point. Yeah. So how long is the Christmas stitch along? It's every 3 days, Wendy. So it should be done by the middle of November. I have to schedule all of it up as well. So I'm like remembering every 3 days to launch it, but I gotta schedule it. So I guess the moral of the story, there's nut jobs everywhere. Mm-hmm. So loving them from a distance, you know, I can't even say that there's love there for myself, but I get what you're saying. So is there a list for the stitch? Yes. If you go on the crochetcrowd.com, also the stitch along has a link. All the different videos have a link. So if you go look for the start, you'll see all that. Yeah. You don't need a lot. Probably just some spare yarn and patience. So as Wendy and some of you may know, so when the U.S. goes through a major election cycle for the presidential race, is when I get hit with death threats, like one after another, from people from the United States. It is unbelievable. I have surveillance up in my house because of it, because I got scared. I have a feeling the next election is going to be an absolute shit show for myself. It's going to be so polarized that. So I think what people do is they look for people like me and just make our lives hell. So the last election cycle, people were threatening to come on my property and kill my dogs. And it's not just one person; it's like a slew of them, and it's one after another. It's just unbelievable. It's like, leave me alone. So yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of it's been kind of nuts. So I'm kind of dreading it, honestly. But there's a lot more positive to focus on. So that's kind of the purpose of everydaystitch.com, is to kind of like really hit the points of, why are you crocheting, and why is there a community in the whole 9 yards. And it is unbelievable. So one of the, it just, something else. But yeah, it is what it is, right? But it's almost the lesson, like when you decide to be an online host. So I think I saw a statistic: 80% of new creators actually quit within 3 months because they can't handle the community. And honestly, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I am surprised that I've lasted 17 years. I've come close a few times to just absolute quitting. Just say, you know what? I did not sign up for that. But in the end, I like demonstrating stuff, right? Yeah. So Wendy's my assistant, just so you know. Yeah. So anyways, it's been kind of. Yep. Yep. So anyway, so that's kind of what's going on around here these days. The nice thing, it doesn't take a lot of glue. So Lauren is out of bed now. Jesus, she's up before lunch. Amazing. I got your email, Lauren. I haven't responded to you yet. was hoping to take the weekend off, but it's not working out that way. I gotta finish more ducks for the cruise too. Yeah. What is the stitch along in November is, it's this tree right now. And currently the flower bouquet is currently in the Journey membership level. I think I might launch that as a stitch along for Boxing Day, but I'm not 100% convinced on that yet. I don't have a stitch along for Boxing Day as usual, so I might move it to there. So it's just been holding in the Journey membership. So the Journey membership allows me to make content and just let it hold until I'm ready for it to go to the general public. And you're in the Pacific time. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised you're up before lunchtime in your time zone. I thought you slept in until after lunch. She's a nighthawk. So you're already working on the bouquet. So currently, cruisers for the next cruise are working on the warp to interlock that's in the Journey membership. There's an online course for it as well on Mikey Stitch Studio, but it's going to be our main project. My blankets upstairs, I actually finished it. Daniel's questioning what it would look like with a different type of yarn that's more variegated, but I haven't put any further thought to it. But I actually did think about what if I did it as a scarf. Yeah. So you have it. So if you're a Journey membership, Sherry, if you look up flower bouquet blanket, it'll pop up for you, and you have access to all those tutorials now because if you're a Journey member. Passport level doesn't see that stuff. So there's two types of membership. One is just supporting us and helping us with our operational expenses, and Journey membership, you get all of the videos in advance here on YouTube. So you don't have to wait. If there's a stitch along, you get everything up front instead of waiting. There is also Sherry. There, if you go on the, if you say you're a Journey member, so the Journey members will also see on the homepage of our YouTube channel of members tab, and then you'll see everything that's exclusive to you as well for your help in supporting our channel. And our articles also play the videos if you're a Journey member automatically, where other people will not play. So you just became a Journey member. Perfect. Well, then you'll see it there. There's lots of stuff for the members. And I appreciate your support a lot. It helps. So all the Journey membership goes back towards the operational expenses of the channel. As much as it's free to use, it costs money to make it. To join the membership, Wendy probably can get some information for you for that. It's in the home tab. It's in the home channel, and it says join under membership and join. But if you want the videos in advance, you got to join the Journey level, and it's only an extra $2 more than the other level. So it's I have the attitude of Walmart, more for less. So that's, I've seen people charge up to $75 a month for membership. I think what's ours, $8.99 or $8.99. So it's $6.99 is passport, $8.99 is thing, and then it converts over to the different currencies. So on Mikey Stitch Studio, on the pricing of a pattern that's $6.99, because it's in Canadian dollars, is the equivalent to just under $5 American. So I try to keep my patterns under $5. And then the prices do vary depending on how much work there is. If it's really simple, then I just say it's free. So yeah, so Jeannie's retired from crochet. She's done. She retired from her regular work and just kind of moved on. She started a brand new life, and I think in life people have like a chapter, and so she had fulfilled her chapter and moved on. So you can find her if you go on the crochetcrowd.com under patterns. There's patterns separated by Jeannie and Michael, Jeannie and Mikey at the top of that category, and you're going to find all of her patterns that are there, and you'll also find her on Ravelry, but she has not written any new patterns, I don't think, in a couple years. She was very gifted at writing patterns that were so simple, and the idea of great repeating, so it made it very popular. And the Hugs and Stitches catalog was her shtick. So I had the Study Of series, and she had the Hugs and Kisses. And the Hugs and Kisses still end up being the most popular thing, even in 2025. So it's no matter what I've done, her patterns always have done better than mine. And I had to accept that. So it's the crochetcrowd.com. It's our home site. So other YouTube hosts, what they've done in their lives, they haven't bothered to have a website, And so I realized that I'm probably going to need a website, so I started building out a website in 2010. And unfortunately, some people in my category, they've just never had to deal with a website, so they can just make as many videos as possible and just tell you just watch the video if you want the pattern, where I have the combination of that, plus then I link it to Ravelry, so I have to maintain Ravelry on top of YouTube. And then, of course, then you have to have social media. Some people don't even have like YouTube channels or anything, or sorry, Facebooks or anything like that. So they just dedicate their lives to one platform. And I think in the end, it would have been, for me, time-wise, it might have been smarter to do that. But I didn't go that route. And you can't stop something that works, you know. So I have all these miniature Christmas gifts that I could probably put at the base of this tree. I think I'm going to make craft dinner for lunch when I'm done. It's currently now 2:35, so I think it's almost lunchtime. Lauren, did I make you craft dinner when you were at the cottage? I don't remember who I made it for. I know second group I made craft dinner for more people than I did on the first group. Lunch of Champions. Yes, you did with Donair. Oh, that's right. Forgot about the Donair. That other commenter was talking about missing some beads at the top. I kind of more see it now than I did before. It's way better than the US version. Is it the difference of the chemicals in it? Is that what it is? I do know that our food restrictions are a lot more stronger than the United States. You can't have artificial coloring in cereal in Canada. I think it tastes the same. It's just you can't have all that. So Fruit Loops is not like really bright. It's almost boring to look at, but it's without some of the ingredients you really don't need. Daniel doesn't like it, so it'll be a hard sell for me to convince him that it's better than the United States, because he'll eat it, but he bitches about it all the time. But his conviction is not strong enough to refuse to eat it. So, Lauren, here's some gossip for you. So, people on the second group really wanted coffee after the stop at the craft store. So, anyway, so Karen placed a bus order to Tim Hortons on the way out to Digby. And anyway, so they literally got an online order for nearly 55 coffee or tea. And they had a meltdown. Oh. So anyway, we end up getting finally there after, so she placed it 30 minutes in advance. So she placed the order. We get there and nothing is done. And one of the staff members like literally said, you know what? I'm not doing it, because there were so many orders. And oh my God. So at the end, I'm like, Karen, why did we stop at Tim Hortons? I don't understand. And so Karen asked me if I wanted coffee. And I'm like, oh, sure. So I did not know she was asking that we were going to place an order for a bus to go to Tim Hortons to get coffee. And my God, it was a capital SH show. And so anyway, so she ends up riding the people in the stores, and one of our other guests did too. And it's like, oh my God, you guys placed a bus order. So finally, after an hour and a half of being stuck in this gas station waiting for the coffee to be completely done, many of us were already done our coffee by the time the bus had pulled out, because it was that staggered. And so I said to Karen, I said, why did we stop for coffee? Like, why did we have to do that? And she goes, you wanted coffee. And I'm like, well, I didn't say that the bus should get coffee. Yeah. So Palmer, Alaska, welcome. I don't have any plans for Alaska right now. We're going to an Alaska crochet cruise coming up, but we're not going to your region, unfortunately. But Palmer is beautiful. Home of the muskox. Oh, for God's sake. Cats. Get out of the house. Come on. Out. Come on. Who's going outside? All of you. Outside. Okay, 1. Okay, next one. 2. Puss. Outside. 3. Cats. Kelly won't take my cats. My friend Kelly, she loves cats. She won't take my cats. We adopted them together. They're not related, but they loved each other for like 6 months, and then it's been hell. Anyway, anybody want cats? Mm-hmm. Doesn't. No, she doesn't love me enough to take my cats. But she's, if you're on, oh, you're not on Crochet Cruise number 2. She's coming to Crochet Cruise number 2. Actually, you met Kelly. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Gordon was saying, oh, those are great people. I'm forgetting that he's met people, so yeah. A porch drop? I think so. That sounds like a good idea to me. "60 and thick," says hello. Okay. That kind of name is going to get me in trouble. So I'm good. I've got no complaints today, except for cats. You need some cats. I got some cats. Just decorating my tree with some Christmas spirit. Just need some Chevy Chase to play. Or Christmas. Is it Christmas Vacation? Christmas. You know, the Griswold Christmas. Is it Christmas Vacation? I don't remember. The Timmy stop was hilarious. Yeah, for you. So Colleen wants to move to Canada. Plenty of room for you, that's for sure. So 60 and thick is just stopping by, say hello. Well, have a great day, whatever you're up to today. I'll just be sitting here decorating, getting all jolly for the season. I wonder how many people are going to do this tree. So you never know when you design this stuff. Christmas Vacation is the name of the Chevy Chase movie. You ever notice above Russ's on Russ's wall in the bedroom that there was 2 turtles having sex in one of the posters? So Karen was doing a miniature Griswold, and so we watched the movie and she took notes, and so she would pause the movie to write down what she sees to be able to do a miniature version. And I'm like, is that 2 turtles having sex? And it absolutely was. And like, how all these years, how I did not notice that. It's the subtleties in the background, right? So Lauren's planning on making 6. Lauren, you're a good girl. You know how to get my good books. You've been on a cruise ship before, Lauren? I can't remember. I think you have been. I think you're well traveled, right? I think you've been to Barcelona before. I think this one has more balls than my other tree. I think I've been over decorating. We'll do a ball comparison at the end of this today. Did a river cruise. So anyway, Lauren, Daniel got a few decorations in the Christmas markets on the Rhine River. So he put the picture of it in Chat GPT, and it says, where are these ballerina pigs from? And it turns out that it found Canadian locations where they're sold, and also what it's part of. And we did not realize it's part of a Christmas circus theme. So other pigs are like lifting weights or holding candy floss or other stuff, and it's amazing. Now, is he to go buy them? No, but it's kind of neat to be able to do that. We found some really cute pixies. Anyway, so he was wanting more pixies, so we took a photo of that to see where it's sold. So the ornaments, yeah, so he found that one last night, that website, and the elves that are near the end of that catalog were in person, were just phenomenal. We saw them in Zurich, and it was at the start of our cruise. So we didn't want to buy anything at the start because I'm like, well, we'll probably see cool stuff. And we never saw that twice. And it was always a regret that we never got at least one of the elves. Mark, I forget his name, Mark something is the designer of those. They were amazing. And we weren't sure of luggage space either. So we're kind of careful not to overbuy anything. But I think I'm going to, for the crochet cruises, I think I'm going to go buy a hockey bag and pack my stuff in a hockey bag this time. I've given up on the hard luggage. It always ends up broken. And then my last duffel bag got ripped on the way back from Scotland. So I think I need something solid. Anyway, I got tired of buying new luggage like pretty much every trip because just the wheels get broken off and cracked. There's got to be a better way on handling luggage. You can't just the flower bouquet blanket. If you put that in the search engine, if you're a Journey member, it'll come up. And put it in the search engine of the Crochet Crowd YouTube channel. And also on I believe on our website, the videos are there, and those will play for you there as well. So I'm sure the landfills are just full of luggage that only gets used once. Okay, I'm just gonna take a overall look. Just a few more balls at the top. Oops. FB rolled. Have a good day. Enjoy. Enjoy whatever you're up to today. I'm just doing final touches. Just where I think it's done. Well, I'm saying it's done. Okay, so I'll show you the other tree with this tree. I think this one has more beads. So this is the tutorial version. And this is the original. So tutorial, see, yeah, I think this is, it's cute, right? So which one do you like better? Do you like the Karen cake or the Karen 1 pound or the fluffy one? I like the fluffy one. I like the color of the green better on this one than I do this one. Right? Both are perfect. Lauren, you gotta have a favorite. I like the snowman version better. The fluffy version. The snowman topper version is better. It is better. Yeah. I think so too. The fluffy one. Okay, so I got to take new photography now of this one now it's done, and I got to do the final video for people to finish that series off, and that's it. And then I'm going to go run and get myself a cup of tea, and that's it. Okay, have a good day, everybody, and we hope that you've enjoyed, and that's it.